This is one of the most famous Greek heroes of all time. He's a demigod with superhuman strength who was destined for greatness. So why did the Queen of the Gods keep trying to kill him? And why did he go through 12 different trials? What fate awaited this newborn destined to be a hero? Did he cheat death? Well, sit tight, because the story of Hercules is just getting started. It started when Zeus, the king of the gods of Olympus, fell for a mortal named Alcmene. Now, Alcmene wasn't any ordinary woman. She was a descendant of the legendary hero Perseus. Yeah, the guy who took down Medusa. Now, Alcmene became pregnant with this child, Hercules, who was destined for greatness. Everyone was excited. Why? It was a child of Zeus about to be born into the house of Perseus. And yeah, it's different from the Disney version where Hercules is actually Hera's son. Anyway, Zeus's jealous wife, Hera, intervened, causing Hercules to be born prematurely. Hera's meddling didn't stop there, though. She wasn't satisfied with disrupting Hercules' birth. She wanted to ensure that he wouldn't fulfill his destiny as a great hero. So, she devised another plan to thwart fate. She sent one of Alcmene's servants, Galanthus, to deceive Argyle, a midwife attending to the birth. Galanthus pretended that Alcmene had already given birth to her sons, hoping to trick Hera's daughter Ilithyia, who presided over childbirth, into leaving Alcmene's side. But Ilithyia wasn't so easily fooled. Sensing the deception, she rushed to Alcmene's aid, allowing Hercules and his twin brother Iphicles to be born as foretold. This turn of events fulfilled Zeus's oath, but fate had other plans in store. Despite being Zeus's son, he wasn't destined to rule. To protect him from Hera's wrath, Alcmene sent Hercules to Olympus, where the gods, including Hera and Athena, raised him. But what awaited him? Was it a life of peace? We'll get to that in a minute. But first, why would Alcmene give up Hercules? Simple. She feared Hera. So he grew up in Olympus, raised by Hera and Athena. Hera's milk gave him strength, and Athena guided him. Back on Earth, Hera still had a bone to pick. She sent serpents after baby Hercules, but he bravely fought them off. How would this hero's story unfold? Let's find out together. Now, Hercules and his brother were playing with those same serpents as if they were nothing more than harmless toys. But little did they know, this was just the beginning of Hercules' epic journey. Their parents, stunned by their son's feat of heroism, sought counsel from the wise prophet Tiresias. And what did he have to say about young Hercules? Well, he prophesied that this boy would grow to vanquish fierce monsters and deadly beasts. This meant he would fulfill his destiny. Known for his immense strength, some even believed Hercules was part god. But despite his might, he wasn't the sharpest tool in the shed. Like the time he threatened to shoot the sun with his bow out of frustration? Yikes. Anyway, despite his flaws, Hercules was a beloved figure in Greek mythology, though often depicted comically. Some saw him as a lovable giant, while others viewed him as a primal force of nature. But what about Hercules undertaking his 12 labors, each a test of his strength and redemption? How did that happen? As Hercules' fame spread far and wide, so too did Hera's anger. She couldn't bear the sight of this living reminder of her husband Zeus's infidelities. So, she plotted and schemed, weaving a web of tragedy around the hero's life. Even his marriage to Megara, the daughter of King Creon, wasn't spared from Hera's spite. Driven to madness by Hera's machinations, Hercules committed a terrible deed, a deed that would haunt him for eternity. He killed his wife and children in a fit of madness induced by Hera. Yet, in his despair, he sought redemption, seeking guidance from the Oracle of Delphi. Hercules, unaware of Hera's influence, faced trial after trial, each more daunting than the last. Initially tasked with 10 labors, he soon found himself burdened with 2 more, at the whim of King Eurystheus. Now the first trial was to conquer the Nemean lion, a terror of the land. This beast, with its impenetrable hide, struck fear into all who crossed its path. Armed only with his strength, Hercules entered the lion's den, ready for battle. In a clash of titans, Hercules emerged victorious, choking the life from the lion with his bare hands. And from his mighty claws, he fashioned a cloak of impenetrable hide, a symbol of his triumph. Was his next challenge any easier? Not at all. He had to take down the Hydra of Lerna. The Hydra, a fearsome 9-headed serpent, lurked in the murky swamps of Lake Lerna, a creature born of Hera's spite and vengeance. Tasked with slaying this monstrous foe, Heracles enlists the aid of his nephew, Iolaus, knowing that this battle would test the limits of their courage and cunning. Heracles and Iolaus faced the Hydra in the murky swamp. But with each blow, the Hydra regenerated, seeming invincible. Desperate, Heracles turns to Iolaus' plan, using fire to fight back. With a stroke of divine intervention, Heracles defeated the Hydra, only to face Eurystheus' refusal to acknowledge their triumph. So Heracles faces his third trial, capturing the fearsome Erymanthian boar. With skill and cunning, he ensnared the boar, only to be met with Eurystheus' cowardice upon his return. Now at this point, the king should have been satisfied with everything he'd done so far. Did that mean he wouldn't get any more challenges? No. They just kept coming. Seriously, at this point, anyone else would have given up. Driven by envy, Eurystheus assigned Heracles the strange task of cleaning King Augeas' filthy stables. Despite the daunting task, Heracles came up with a clever plan, using rivers to wash away the filth in a single day. Yet, betrayal followed victory as Augeas refused to honor his promise, stoking Heracles' righteous anger. Even in triumph, Heracles found no rest, as Eurystheus refused to recognize his success. He was like, "Okay, this is great, but you gotta get cracking on the next one." Eurystheus challenged Heracles to defeat the Stymphalian birds. That doesn't sound so bad. What made a bunch of birds so horrific? These creatures, trained by the war god Ares, spread terror with their razor-sharp beaks. Undaunted, Heracles ventures into the marshlands armed with divine weapons. With deadly precision, he fell the birds, emerging victorious. But Eurystheus' jealousy knows no bounds. Setting Heracles on another quest, he demanded the capture of the Cretan bull. Undeterred, Heracles confronts the monstrous beast, wrestling it into submission. But victory was short-lived as Eurystheus issued yet another command. This one was way more challenging than the last. He now had to get the cattle of Geryon the giant from the distant island of Erythea or face dire consequences. Undaunted, Heracles set out on his perilous journey, confronting the formidable giant Geryon, along with his fierce guardians, Orthrus and Eurytion. With unmatched strength and cunning, Heracles overcame every obstacle, securing the prized red cattle and bringing them back to Eurystheus. His next labor was even harder, but not as hard as it is to like this video and hit that subscribe button. Anyway, Hera, ever the antagonist, stirred more chaos by sending the cattle into a frenzy. Despite the odds, Heracles reclaimed them, delivering them to Eurystheus. "Ah, Heracles, you've proven yourself once again," Eurystheus remarked. "But your next labor awaits. Capture the golden hind of Artemis." Heracles tracked and captured the elusive creature, presenting it to Eurystheus, who marveled at its beauty. At this point, Heracles had conquered 10 labors. But Hera wasn't done messing with him yet. He faced 2 more from Eurystheus. One of these tasks was to steal 3 golden apples from the garden of the Hesperides. Hercules captured the Old Man of the Sea for directions, defeated Antaeus, and outwitted Atlas to get the apples. He really wasn't playing with the labors now. Eurystheus, astonished, could only fume at Hercules' success. But the next one was definitely the hardest. What do you think Eurystheus asked for next? Cerberus, the Hound of Hades. In the depths of the underworld, Hercules faced the vicious 3-headed dog. Their clash was intense, each head snarling as Hercules fought for dominance. Despite the challenge, Hercules emerged victorious, dragging Cerberus back to the surface. Eurystheus, filled with awe, conceded Hercules is the greatest hero of all time. He released Hercules from his penance, granting him freedom. Thus, Hercules' legendary journey concluded. His name was immortalized as one of Greek mythology's greatest heroes. But if you want to learn more about his ancestor Perseus, make sure to click on this next video.